I would like us to just lift up your hands and stretch. Let's stretch. And lean back so they don't break the back. Yeah, there. And then swing the hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then to the waist. 1, 2, make it go round. Let it go round. That's your waist. Manage your waist. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's your body. You know, we have disintegrated to such a level that we cannot even manage our own bodies. Let's go. 1, 2, just run on the spot. Just enjoy yourself. That's your body. Those are your legs. Okay, go, 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 go. Yes. And you increase the speed a little bit. The speed a little bit. Yes. Go, 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 go. Go. Take a deep breathe in and feel the lungs. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. Now maneuver the space. I would like you to do something very simple. Please, I want you to not to bend your knees. Keep them straight. Lift up your hands like that. There. Lean back again. Carefully. Yes. Do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And slowly come down and touch your toes. We are going to count up to 15. Please don't keep yourself in your legs straight. Let's count together. 1. Please use your voice. You have disintegrated so much we don't even know how to use our voice. Use your voice. There we go. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's go. Up. And you touch your toes and come back up like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I want you to breathe in again. Breathe in. Breathe in. Breathe in. Out. Fill your lungs. Breathe in. Out. And then we are going to do the last one. We are going to wriggle. Just simple. Just simple. Just okay. Wriggle, wriggle, go down. 2, 3, 4. Let's come together. Stop. Let's come together. Use your voice. It is yours, given by God. You underutilize it. We are going to do 15. 15 and concentrate. No talking. Ready? We count together. 1, 2. Count. Hear the voice. Out. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. I want you to look ahead of you and imagine you are looking at yourself in a big mirror. Focus, concentrate. Tell yourself, I love you. Give 2 reasons why you love yourself. Say them to the mirror. Please be loud. You are shy. Okay? All right? Tell yourself in the mirror that I am made in the picture of God. And I do everything as God would do it. And I can do more. Please take your seat. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to make two statements before I discuss what sort of education we need to get through and stand not only for 21st century, but even for the next century. All right? Number one, I want to repeat what was said before, ladies and gentlemen. I believe, as Fadi Mande, that one of the biggest problems we have to do now in Uganda is one, to organize our population. You've heard the saying that Uganda and Africa have got the biggest, the fastest growing population. But I keep asking, what sort of population? Population of thieves, population of lazy people, population of technocrats who don't do their work, population of people who don't know how to make wealth, population of people who are begging all the time. We need to have a program to change what sort of Uganda we want. What sort of Uganda we want in Africa. And other African countries must do the same thing. That's one statement. The second statement, ladies and gentlemen, today as we are talking, hardly anybody can say, please, let's embrace technology. Let's embrace technology. I have no quarrel with technology. But I want to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I have analyzed this as a humanist, as a human resource trainer, as a developer, as a changer. We need to look at what is happening to the human being as we are embracing technology. We don't have a long time to discuss, but I want to say my own observation is the technology, and now the makers of technology have come out with artificial intelligence. They have started making robots or machines which can think and which can talk. There are places where hotels use robots to ask what you would like to have, and they go and get it and bring it and give it to you, and they say, thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much, son. Right? A point in that line is, ladies and gentlemen, my own thinking is, and a lot of Africans, we are not thinking about this, the technology which is being pushed now is a deliberate machinery to exploit, to take away all your abilities. All your abilities, please understand me clearly. All your abilities to speak, abilities to think, abilities to do anything, abilities anything. Today in record, world over, it is estimated that the computers, what is the problem? Let's concentrate. Okay. The computers are doing, the technology is doing 75% of all the human activities that human beings can do. 75%. So you and me and our grandchildren it will be worse. Today it is 75%. Instead, I mean, you can take it now. If I remove this mic, eh, maybe I will not be able to talk to you without a mic. Whereas one time I could stand on an anthill, I remember when I was working as RDC in Kabale and speak to one fellow. But now some people, even in the classroom, cannot speak and be heard. So the point I'm making, ladies and gentlemen, think about it, and I wish the people in authority, all right, can think about it. We embrace technology, but remember the makers of the machines of technology and so on, the TVs and the telephones, they are making money by selling that technology. So they are making money by making life in what's easy for you, right? And time will come when you cannot do anything without a machine, including eating food. So think about it. What remains with us? What shall we remain doing? A human being. My wife is a devout Christian, and she keeps telling me, she calls me Apoli, my pretty name from Portugal. 10 people in the whole world on earth are pushing the button. What are you pushing? And so some people, when I say the real, some people are doing this. Not everyone like this, no. Nobody has died. Are you getting me? But we can retrieve it. Are you getting me? That's why we say we shall improve and improve our image. Right. Those were the points background. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the way I would like to go. I am going to tell you about myself as part of the introduction. You don't have to write down anything, but keep thinking. But when I've told you what I've told you about myself, I want us to think about what Ugandan do we need? What teachers therefore do we need? What people do we want? Talking about our children and always. So, just listen. Then afterwards we shall discuss. My name is Fadi Mande. I'm 74 years old. 74. I went to schools, our normal schools. I've never been to a boarding school myself. I went to primary schools, which you don't know, but who were there. I went to Giga Karonda, I went to junior school, Kalinari. I went to Lily Secondary School for secondary. I went to Chambogo, Teachers College, where I trained as a teacher. Afterwards, after working for 10 years, I went and joined the university through the mature age program. When I left Makerere University, I changed. Later on, after 2 years, I went for my master's degree. Right, I did drama, music, I did playwriting and directing as my specialty. At Makerere, I did English literature plus some papers in music, dance, and drama. In Chambogo, I studied English language, and I did physical education, and I'm among the first 7 Ugandans who ever did the subject of physical education as a teaching subject. I was among them, right? And so that's what I have done. I have only reached the master's degree, and I decided that I would not go for the doctorate. I decided to put that energy into doing. Are you getting me? Right? So that's my education. Good. I grew up in the hands of my mother alone. My mother was a mix of a Muganda father and a Mtoro mother. Right? And so, and my father was a man from Pakistan. That's why I am mixed. But I've never seen my father. I only saw his photograph. 26 years later, when I was 26 years, that's when I went, and a friend of his showed me a picture. He said, "This is your father." All right? So, me, I'm a mixture of my mother Mtoro, Muganda, Pakistan, Muhindi. That's my mixture, and I love it. Just like your mixture, that's what you are. Are you getting me? Right. My mother got pregnant with me when she was 14 years of age. That's when she met my father. Where they met, I don't know, but they met. All right? And when my mother realized that she was pregnant, at that time, by the way, she was in the P1. My mother became pregnant. Do we say with me or what? When she was in P1. And of course, she didn't go back to school. When she told my father, who was working as a postmaster in Kabale, those of you know, as you are entering Fort, near River Panga, the post office is there. That's where I'm told my father was working as post office manager. Right? So he was a boss, he was a manager. Right? That when my mother told him that she was pregnant, he said, no, I'm not interested in the child. So he refused. But luckily enough, my mother and my grandmother accepted to look after me until she produced me, and I've grown up in the hands of my mother, the P1 lady, P1 completer, non-completer, all right? And my grandmother, who never attended school. I'll stay like my grandmother never attended school at all, all right? My mother reached P1, okay? Good. So that's the history about my father, and I've never seen him except I saw him in a photograph. Right? So I've grown with my own mother plus my grandmother. My mother and my grandmother built me, contributed to what partly I am. Those two. My father, no, directly. Are you getting me? Right? So I have grown up with my mother, who passed away about 7 years ago. Right? My mother was working as, when I was growing up, we moved from Kabale, they took me back to Kampala, they moved as parents, and when they moved, she started working. Me, I was only 3 years, and I never knew the reasons why they moved. But when my mother was looking after me, briefly, she was working as a house girl. A house girl, washing clothes, cleaning the houses, and she was working for Bazungus. The Bazungus at Kitchen Courts, those who were employed by the government of Uganda, they lived there. So my mother worked there all the time when I grew up until I finished childhood. That's what my mother was doing. House girl, people level with me, all right? Good. And she looked after me. So I am really who I am partly because of my mother. Right? My character and everything. Right? Quickly I know my mother was very clean and I liked cleanness. Number two, she used to take me even where she was working, which helped me quite a lot. Because she took me and I would talk with those. Some of them were doctors, some of them were engineers, some of them were teachers, and I would talk. And that built me greatly. It built me greatly. And that was my mother. At first she took me there to translate for her, because for her she didn't know a single word of English. So I went there and I was a translator for my mother. And you can see the growth which I was making. Which person was talking to Mzungu at that time at my age? I was barefooted. Are you getting me? Alright? So that's my mother. That's how I grew up. You get me? Right? Let's move. And yes, about school, I've told you, work. I started working seriously when I was 8 years old. And I was fetching water for people. And I didn't pour water on my head. I was lifting 2 babies, 2 tins at a go. And some people in my village, Chevron, near Kabale, could not hire any other young person to fetch them water. They would hire me, because for them would fill a drum more quickly at half the time, carrying 2 babies. And nobody told me to carry 2 devils. No, I carried 2 devils because I was training my body. By that time, I developed that feeling that I must train what? My body. I must be a power. You get me? And the other job I was doing is digging pit latrines. I dug pit latrines up to the end of senior 4. I would begin 60 feet or 50 feet on Friday evening. Sunday, I'm getting my money. I used to work with a friend of mine, a neighbor's son. Okay? And we loved it. Right? Then, of course, the other job which I did was to prepare samosa and chapati for a lady who was making them. By that time, I was moving there. Then I dug in people's gardens for some time, and I was getting my money. Right? So those are the jobs which I grew up with. And to summarize that's when I learned to work. Number 2, I learned how to make money my own. Number 3, I learned to do a job to please my boss. I'll give you an example. I was working with my friend, and we were going to Telolong. We were muddy houses. And after we have put in the earth, we stand and look whether our boss will be happy with the work we have done. And one of the points we noticed that when my friend was doing the final work, his fingers were much bigger than mine. So we agreed technically that he would not be doing the final, I would be doing the final because my fingers were a bit smaller. And that's how we were. That is the demonstrate how I learned. The second point, that I learned to do a job to make sure my boss appreciates it. Right? So those are the jobs I did when I was growing up until I became a teacher. Right? But that is my beginning. Okay? Fine. Let's move on. I want to tell you about me myself. Right? I'm a father of 6 children, 2 girls and 4 boys. My youngest child, a girl, was born in 1974. 1974 is my last born. 6 children, and I have 18 grandchildren. Recently I got my 4th great-grandchild. So I'm a father of 6, a grandfather of 18, and a great-grandfather of 4. Right? Now quickly, let's jump. All my children are employed. None of my children has ever been fired from any job. None of my children has ever fought with anybody, fighting. Okay? My 2 girls finished university when they were still virgins. Are we together? And some people ask, how did you know? My friend, I didn't pass through what you think. My children could talk and I could read them. I could read them. You get me? All right? So, the boys, my children, the oldest is a girl. She's working at our High Commission in Nairobi. So she's working with the government. The boy is working with the what is it? He is working as a telecommunication engineer with the organization UNHCR, right? And he's based in South Africa as a regional director there, but he keeps coming home, all right? And his home is here, but he works there. The second boy is a boy. He is actually right now, he's locked up in the Ukraine war. That's where he lives, because we went there eventually and got married to a Russian woman. So he's he's married to a Russian woman, and he's a pastor also, but he's an industrial engineer, all right, and self-employed. Then the third boy is a medical doctor specializing in surgery.
He's working in Sydney, in Australia. Then the fourth boy is working in Uganda. He's a civil engineer concentrating mainly in building, and he has got his own private company. He lives in Kampala, in Kisasi. Then the youngest girl works, or she has retired. She was working with the Virus Research Institute in Entebbe, and she was a laboratory, a pure scientist. She has retired now. She's going to begin up her company. She has not designed it properly yet, right? So those are my children, right? Let's move. Works, what jobs have I done? I told you the earlier jobs. When I qualified, since I qualified from Chambogo, I have been a teacher trainer, training teachers, particularly grade 2s at Nyondo TTC, Namtamba TTC, and Shimon TTC. That was my first work. I did it for the first 3 years, I think 4, about. After that, I became a headmaster. 1974, when the Asians were going and all this. I was just selected from the school. My district education officer came to me, talked to my principal, and my principal called me. I was teaching a lesson. He said, "Come, DO wants to talk to you." And I went and sat, and the man told me to sit down on a chair, in the car. He said, "Monday, ngenda kutwala kubera headmaster in Uganda. Monday, I'm going to take you to make you headmaster." And within 5 minutes, the man was driving away with him, going to be made a headmaster. We drove up to Old Kampala Primary School. I was 26 years. I was headmaster 26 years, right? And he called the staff, briefed them that I am the headmaster, and he said, "Monday, take charge." And I took charge. And the man went and drove away. Are you getting me? Right? Let's follow. I'm still talking about what sort of teacher do we need? What sort of Ugandan do we need? Are you getting me? Okay? What sort of school do we need? So he left me, and I ran the school. I worked there for only 6 months. But then I was transferred by the Kampala City Council to Aga Khan Primary School, which had 3,400 children. Old Kampala had 1,200. I was taken to school after 6 months with 3,600 children. I worked there for 2 years in Aga Khan. I sat an interview, and I was appointed as assistant education officer. And I was posted at Tororo first, but I worked there for 6 months. I was transferred to Kampala City, as assistant education officer. And then 1973, later on, I applied also to join the grade 1 primary schools. And those were the schools left behind by the British. Kampala by that time, and a lot of our towns, even including Kabale and where. Are you getting me? There were schools for the Asians, schools for the Ugandans, schools for the Bazungu. So Kitante Primary School, the headmaster had gone away after me, had chased away these people. I sat an interview. I passed, and I became a headmaster of Aga Khan Primary School. And I worked there for 3 years or 4 years. No, 4 years. And then that's when I went to Makerere. So I did all those jobs there when I was still a grade 5. Headmaster, assistant education officer, and so on and so forth. Jump quickly. When I went to Makerere and did my degree in literature and music, dance, and drama, I finished, and I decided that I'm not going back. I will not go back and apply for the headmastership of Kitante. I said I must look for another job. And I got an interview, and I did an interview, and I was selected to work in a bank as a banking assistant. I worked for the Libyan Arab Uganda Bank for 1 year. After 1 year, there was a Muyindi who was returning, Silver Springs Hotel in Kampala, and he was looking for a manager. Then the chairman of the board of the bank, who was a lawyer, said, "Fajil Mande, Gandesha is coming back. he wants a general manager. I see that you can manage. I went and sat an interview with the other 5 guys, and I beat them, and I became a general manager of Silver Springs Hotel. All right? I worked with Silver Springs Hotel for 1 year. Yes, that's when I went for my master's. But when I came back after my master's at Leeds University in the UK, I worked a bit in Kampala, in Nairobi, Kenya, at Kericho, at a secondary school because of the security situation back home. But when I came back to Uganda after 1 year and a half in Kenya, I rejoined the Libyan Arab Uganda Bank. They accepted me. So that's where I was until 1987. All right? And I went for training, military training, and I came back. I first went, then I was called to work with the office of, actually not office of the president. I came back and I was appointed to be a director in the External Security Organization. ESO, Director of Operations. Are you getting me? All right? Then I finished that, Director of I worked there for 2 years. Then I was appointed, I was appointed as Director of Inspectorate for the NRM Secretariat. I was the director to inspect all the cadres, all the people who were working in the offices. I did that job for 1 year and a half. Then I applied. I wanted to go to the field. There are reasons which I can't go, and I wanted to go to the field. Then I was appointed as the SDA, Special District Administrator, right, or RDC now. And I became RDC for Kapchura District for 6 months. Then they transferred me to Kabale District for 2 years. Then they government transferred me to Tororo District for 3 years. And one night, at 11 o'clock in the night, I get a telephone call from the Minister of Education. Said, Mr. Mande, I've discussed with the President. We want to transfer you to the ministry. And that was my first time going to work in the ministry directly at the policy level. Are you getting me? Because we want you to come and lead the process of introducing UPE and USE. Next week, meaning after he rang me, I was already in the office in the Ministry of Education as a deputy commissioner for as a